Hello, welcome to the Live Reality Games. My name is Steven, and I'm here to talk about Surviving Reelfoot, Season 10, Fowler's Point. I keep forgetting the name of the title. With me today, I have two Reelfoot veterans. I have Michael DeLucas, veteran of Season 4, 5, and many different productions, and Jake Spartz, who I play with on Season 7. How are you both doing today?
I'm doing well. Go ahead, Jake.
Just great. I have nothing, and I haven't been very productive because I've been watching the streams. So
same. I actually called out of work today to stay by the computer. So if anybody asks, I'm sick.
Well, I'm glad to see you're recovering. Well, tell me your thoughts. So I guess let's just get in the latest news. The tribes have swapped, and we have now two new tribes of 7, and a little lopsided, both in the favor of the original yellow players. Kawono? I haven't actually pronounced it yet. It's the original yellow tribe. What are your thoughts on this swap?
Yeah, well, that was my first thought when I was watching them do that, is that it's going to be, a 4-3 in favor of the yellow tribe. But I think what's going to be interesting for blue is potentially there could be some ways to work in, depending on how people feel about the way they were chosen by the two people, because now there's two people who are singled out, which might help some people maneuver.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for 3 tribes of 5 to kind of shake it up a little bit, but I like how it went down. I like that they had some interaction and they were able to compare notes. It does maybe put a little bit bigger of a target on them, especially since they are wearing the medallions. But I do think some feelings were hurt by this, and I think that's what we needed. Just to kind of like shake it up and see what's going to happen.
Did you see any of that in the live feed already?
I'm sorry?
Did you see any of the feelings being to people expressed in the live feed, or I haven't had a chance to see that stuff yet?
No, but if we're looking at the Fire and Ice Alliance, Dina was clearly the odd man out. So that could possibly put some bad blood in or bad taste in her mouth. And then Casey being left out of the vote the last round gives him potential to kind of be that flip vote to blue. So there's dynamics there.
Yeah, I was wondering when I was seeing that how Angela's really kind of able to stack her yellow 2.0 tribe. She brought Lauren, Ryan, and Storm all with her. I was like, man, maybe you want to do like a 3 and 2, like put 2 of your allies over there, and then like you have like a sacrifice if need be. I don't know.
Well, also to that point, another person, maybe I'm misunderstanding the relationships, but I feel like James is going to be a little bit hurt too from not being picked to stay with his original yellow. I know yellow gets to keep the numbers on either side, but I don't know. I felt like he was talking to some of the people more that were on that other group, but maybe I'm wrong in that.
Maybe we want to dig into that original yellow tribe configuration, right? Because you have the Fire and Ice Alliance, that's 5 people: Angela, Lauren, Ryan, Storm, and Dina. And then you have kind of Keenan and James that are kind of on the outs of that, but working with them. But it's hard to tell how much they know there's that 5. And then you just have KC, who's on the island.
Right.
Yeah, I think prior to the swap, James actually was in a good spot because it seemed like all of the 5 in the Fire and Ice kind of wanted him as that side piece. So that gives him potential to maneuver through that alliance. And then, when it becomes pivotal to be that person that makes a decision, it could fall into his lap. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles this swap and now being with, more options. So we'll see.
So on the yellow tribe, right, how do you see things playing out, especially the fact that Ryan has an idol?
On the new yellow tribe, I need to pull up a graphic again. I'm trying to remember everyone.
All right, so you have Angela, Lauren, Ryan, and Storm, the original yellow, and then you have Carly, Megan, Sebastian.
Oh, right.
Blue, and Angela is marked.
Right. So the obvious vote is Angela for blue at this moment. So in order to avoid a tie, I think Stan said it in the viewer chat that he would have to probably play his idol on Angela to avoid that tie. Is anybody going to go to Rock so soon? I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how that one falls out. But Angela is definitely going to get some votes, I think, just because she's the odd person marked.
Yeah.
Well, so they vote for Angela. Ryan plays his idol. I mean, maybe there's a world he doesn't play his idol.
It seems a little early to play an idol to me, but I don't know. I think if you play an idol on somebody else so early, you have that person who's going to be kind of feeling indebted to you, but at the same time, that puts the two of you as even a bigger target. So if I was Ryan, I would hold on to the idol a bit longer for when he's more in trouble and let there be a sacrifice, because likely Angela's probably not going to mark somebody from her original group. She'll mark somebody else, and then it swings things back over to their side in the next vote.
It's true.
I was thinking because that makes it really interesting because, like, yes, even if Blue somehow gets the upper hand that first vote, they're going to be marked that second vote, and it's like start seesawing.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know. Selfishly, if I was Ryan, I wouldn't play the idol yet. And also, there's a whole bunch of the night left too, right? Like a lot can happen between now and the morning, and whatever challenges come up first.
Nick, yes. So Angela, Lauren, and Storm all know about Ryan's idol. So his idol is public for 5 people of his 8-person original tribe.
Also dumb.
Yeah, very dumb. Very, very dumb.
To be fair, it sounds like he found it with Dina and Storm. So at least there's always been 3, but I was surprised that they immediately did share it with the other 2.
Yeah. I was surprised by that too. Never tell anybody you have an idol. Just don't do it.
And then on the Unanga tribe, right? So you have the original Blue, Barbara, Josh, and Sharif. And then you have a more eclectic yellow group. You have Dina, James, Casey, and Keenan. All right. And in this case, Josh is marked.
Right. When I look at the new Unaga tribe, I feel like this one to me doesn't scream as strict tribal lines as the other one does. I think that there's still going to be a tendency like to stick with your original group first, just because you've spent 3 days together and it's easy to do that. But looking at it, I feel like there are far more cracks to work with, especially with Dina and James potentially ready to go somewhere else.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, do you see, like, Casey's been burned, right? He's probably jumping ship immediately.
Right.
And then, like, does he target Dina? Or is he just saying, I don't care, any of them can go, I'll vote with you?
Right. Who is part of Fire and Ice again?
It's Dina.
Dina.
Yeah. And then Angela, Lauren, Ryan, and Storm.
Right. Yeah. So Dina, that's what I'm saying. So Dina doesn't have connections to the people from her yellow tribe right now. So she might be one ready to run and jump in, unless she gets thrown under the bus hard by the other people from her tribe that she's with.
Right. And a little birdie let me know that Josh and Dina do know each other before the game. So I think that's why Josh kind of wanted Dina to come over to the side, at that switch for Barbara or whoever he switched her for, because that could potentially be a relationship that he can swing over to the Blue.
Yeah, it makes me wonder: is this just another trap for KC? Is he just doomed being on this tribe?
Could be rough.
Yeah. I kind of feel like he's dead man walking, especially if, it can go either 1-2 ways. If he's on the bottom and that's exposed, they might want to scoop him up and work with him, right? Because he's not going to have at Emerge those other numbers to go to. So he's going to kind of be in their pocket and loyal to them. So that's the route I would play, and I would probably get rid of Dina. But if there is is true to the relationship of Josh and Dina, that might not happen. So then who does that leave? James and Keenan. So I could see Keenan going at first at the swap.
I would be sad to see that.
Me too.
But it's hard to say. So why exactly did KC get targeted like he did? Like I feel like I'm missing like what exactly sent him in the sights to everyone and said he needs to go.
So kind of him and Megs, I guess, made it very clear very early on that they were a duo. But meanwhile, you were forming a 5. So you know what I mean? Like everybody's looking for their people at this point in the game. So I guess maybe threatening long term, and then he came out guns a-blazing, throwing Lauren's name out. But again, you gotta throw names out. That's just how the game works. So I don't know exactly where it is. I would guess it's long-term threat and being kind of nervous of him. That would be my assumption.
Well, it feels like it opens the question, like how fast should you be playing? And it seems like this was a more faster paced season with players who really got in there early, made a lot of headway. Then you have players who kind of started working more day 2. It's like, oh shoot, it's like they Was it you commenting or Michael or someone commenting like, hey, if you don't know of any alliances, that means there is when you're not in it, when you're like to one of Keenan's confessionals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's the downfall for Megs. Like Megs comes in as an orc player, and we know that could be a double-edged sword, right? So her advice probably coming in was don't play too hard, but everybody else around her was, and that kind of waiting till day 3 to start in on the conversations was too little too late. That's why I always like, second time players do it better because you learn. So, I say throw all the rules out the window, come in and play your game. Don't take anybody's advice because every experience is different.
Well, it definitely sounded like as, you day 2 progress, people just stop caring about pretenses. We're just running off of people, idle hunting. It's like it's just that first 24 hours. Everyone's like, oh no, can't be seen being strategic. This isn't Survivor.
Yeah, that went out the window pretty fast. There were literal lives where there were multiple groups all in the same area. They didn't even go try to walk in the woods to hide it. They were just all in a line down the path, like a group here, and a group here. And it's like, all right, game is on for them now.
Same thing with idle hunting. That doesn't seem to be a secret anymore in LRGs, period, across the board. You're out there, guns blazing. I'm looking for that idol, and everybody else is. So, I like that it's out in the open. That everybody's doing it.
My favorite thing so far is that the Blue Tribe idol, everyone just thinks it's found at this point, and to our knowledge, no one has that idol.
I don't think so. No.
And it's because everyone's just like, it must be this one tree, and then everyone searched the tree and they're like, okay, it's not there. Barber has it.
Yeah. And it's probably in the most obvious place, just like last year, season 9, they kept walking right by it and doing confessionals right by it, and it was killing me. But somebody's gonna find it. Hopefully it'll be someone from Blue. I mean, they've been looking for days now.
So the 3 tribal counts we've had today, really kind of both the Drew and the Meg elimination has kind of been expected, because I think these have been surprisingly formulated for just 3 days. People were just kind of itching to pull the trigger. And I was not even bothering kind of to watch the scrambles before, and just I don't think there's anything of substance that's going to happen here. But the Julia boot was pretty surprising. She caught those 2 votes to her first tribal council, but I didn't think that meant she was going to go home second.
Yeah, and that was the weird. That was the 5-1-1-1 or something like that. Was that what that voting was? Yeah, I didn't. The few videos that I was able to see or hear what was going on, I should say, I didn't think Julia was the name that was going to come up. So it must have been something in the last few minutes that flipped the name onto her or something.
Yeah, I think just watching confessionals after that, I think she was deemed as a liability in challenges. But from what I saw, I thought she was doing pretty well. But everybody's looking for a reason. So if that's going to be the stigma that's following you, that could easily just send you out early game. I will say this is tough because I never like everybody, and I literally like everybody. When I was watching the intro videos, I was like, I'd work with that person. That person gives me winner vibes. So each one's hard, and I try to put myself in who would I vote out in this situation? And in that vote, I couldn't come up with anyone. So it must be even harder for them right now. But nobody's really doing anything to piss anybody off or that's detrimental.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Julia too, I think if sometimes perception's reality, even if I don't think she was doing exceptionally bad compared to anybody on her tribe, at least from what I watched and from the challenges I saw, there wasn't anything that's she cost us the challenge per se. But if that starts getting out there and there's not a whole lot else, you're on a ship that's sinking fast.
But okay, so the only season Survivor or series Survivor I can think of that you actually write challenge strength is Australian Survivor, because that they just brutalize their players with physical challenges. And so I can never I never feel like tribe strength is a great excuse for live reality games or even US Survivor. I thought the most enlightening confessional was Carly's confessional after the vote, where she was Julia was having kind of a little paranoia and really made a lot of people doubt her in the scrambling post. And Carly described, she and Julia were really set up to maybe be a swing vote at that tribal council. And Julia kind of scrambled it away and couldn't make a decision, kept pitching too many names. And she was, Carly sounded pretty frustrated about that.
Yeah, I think it was a missed opportunity for sure, especially then when you had kind of Bash going off the rails a little bit and telling people he's going to do what he wants to do and not going to follow form. That would have been my open the gate to all right, let's get this, redirect this. So I don't know. I think Julia is a little green, I will say, about her, because I think she has super like major potential. I just maybe feel like socially it just didn't fall together for her in this case.
So Sebastian throws out, like, I guess I think he votes for Megan at that tribal council. And did we hear justification for this?
No.
I mean, what do you do with a player like Sebastian?
I don't know. He's like such a wild card. He's such a wild card. I like him, but I can't get a read on him, so I would be threatened by him for sure.
For me personally, unpredictability isn't somebody I personally want to play with. So I think that especially as it gets closer and closer to the merge, people are going to be fearful of that. If they can't predict what he's going to do, that's a huge liability with working with him, especially when you get closer to that major milestone.
Do you think that's going to make him more of a target in the swap tribe if Kawanu goes to tribal council?
Yeah, I can see him being the first boot from New Yellow, just because he could be deemed a stronger guy. So you're cutting that off. Then there's also a majority of females on that tribe. And I think there's been multiple people have said they want a female to win. So I think he could be in trouble, especially if he's out there not really, trying to appease people. Like, do what you want to do, but don't tell anybody you're going to do what you want to do. You know what I mean? So I just feel like he could be a potential first boot from New Yellow.
You can be chaotic, but you have to do it quietly.
Exactly. Let the fans in on your chaos, but don't let the players in on that. You know?
Well, Jake, when you played Survival Challenge last year, did you ever play or interact with Megan?
Very, very briefly. We were in the One World thing, but then she was on a tribe outside, but we became, I would say, kind of friends afterwards in I rode with her to the after party we went to and got to talk to her a little bit more. So I actually really like Megan, and she's who I'm rooting for the most simply for that reason. And she got done dirty at Survival Challenge. She went out in the triple and she wasn't supposed to go, but everyone voted to save the target from her tribe. They all saved, I think it was Holly. And then she went because of that. So that's why I'm rooting for Megan, because she has major potential. And because she's played a live survivor before, kind of to Michael's point, this is her second game. So she comes in with a different, I felt it too, going from Reelfoot to Survival Challenge. I felt like I was much better prepared for Survival Challenge, just having played Reelfoot. And Steven, you probably felt that going from Survival Challenge to Reelfoot. Like when you get that second chance, you're at an advantage. And I don't know, looking at these other faces, are there others here who have played other live survivors? I know there are people who have played live games, but I'm trying to see who has played a live survivor to this level.
Yeah, so Angela just came off of Can You Survive Season 1. So she played that.
That's why I recognize her face. Okay.
And Keenan played Survivor
BC in 2020.
Sharif and Julia played Survivor New York.
Together?
Together, yeah.
What season?
I think the one that's going to be coming out soon.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, I don't recognize either of them. Yeah. That makes sense then.
Yeah. And then Dina's played Sequester. That's as far as my knowledge goes.
And how long was Survivor New York? Like, where does that compare to Reelfoot? 2 days?
Yeah. Quick.
It's just,
I don't think you have
Reelfoot is, I just think Reelfoot, what the people like, there's so many live games that are crammed into a few days, like Mayhem Manor or even Survival Challenge or something like that. And so when you come to Reelfoot, I think it sometimes takes people by surprise who have played before, because you have so much time. Like, there's more time and more time for things to change and to strategize than any other game I've ever played. So it'll be interesting to see all these people who have played the Survivor and have the experience, but Reelfoot's a little bit of a different beast in that sense.
Yeah, I'm just going off of when we were talking about Megan. I wonder how her mindset has changed from going from such a fast pace of Survival Challenge to come to this, having that more time. Now, I want to preface this for the cast when they watch this. I'm judging you off of what I've seen so far. Megan strikes me as a very direct person who takes a little bit more time to open up and feel comfortable with her. So I hope that the longer periods of time is going to allow for her to develop the serious relationships that she needs, because I can see winner vibes in Megan for sure.
She's definitely, I think, will come off a little bit more under the radar just because she's a little bit more quiet and soft spoken, but that doesn't mean that she's not playing. Like she's in there. I think she's been on the right side of the votes thus far. And I think for her tribe. Yeah. So she certainly has her finger on the pulse. So I think she could be a threat, especially once she gets into the merge, because she can kind of slide under and keep doing her work.
I mean, I wonder what she has to do to survive the swap tribe. I mean, part of me feels like I think Sebastian might catch the first vote, and then from there she needs to win.
Yeah. Well, I also think it's kind of what we talked about early, not only for Megan, but for everybody from the original Blue tribe. I think that they need to stick together and utilize this target thing as an advantage, like to kind of force their hand. You know what I'm saying? Like if the three of them all put their votes on the person who has the target, they might force somebody who's not feeling quite as safe with the original yellow. Oh wait, who has the target on? Who is the target in?
Angela. But the thing is all the other original yellow are her alliance. So I don't see anyone flipping. I can see Ryan playing the idol on her, just to keep the numbers locked.
Well, if Ryan doesn't play the idol, as scary as it is, in order for Blue to get the advantage and not get picked off, they might have to go to rocks.
Yeah.
Like
the penalty vote persists to revote.
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't think we've gotten confirmation on that. I've asked, but yes, I would assume so.
Yeah. Else.
Yeah, I think the three Blue members on Anaga have for sure a fighting chance. I think that there's going to be a lot more movement, but I think the original blue that's on this new yellow tribe, the Quanu tribe, I think that they have to hold strong. Like hope that there's not an idle play, but hold strong, because I think that other four is tight. So
yeah, for the original Unaga, you have Josh, Sharif, and Barbara still on the Blue tribe, and I think Sharif has impressed me a lot, and so it'll be very interesting to see what he does in this tribe, because the group of yellow players is kind of disparate. And so I really could see like the yellow maybe eating its own somehow.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I feel like this is a tale of two tribes. Like I feel like this is the start of a new game for Unaga, but I think it's a matter of self-preservation and survival for Quanu, and it's going to be this pretty hard line.
Yeah. I mean, I see a different scenario just because I know Dina. So Dina has beaten me twice in a final two. So that girl is super, super good and very strategic, but she holds grudges. So if maybe she's mad at Angela and that group or whatnot, maybe she links up with Josh and they throw the challenges, right? And takes out, well, no, that wouldn't work. That doesn't work. Never mind. Sounded better.
I mean... Yeah, no, it's. I was wondering, like, do you have Dina, James, Casey, and Keaton say, oh, maybe they band together and they do try to throw to protect the other side? I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not either.
Because I feel like where the season could potentially go is a Sharif versus Storm throwdown at the merge. Like, if both of them are able to, you have, like, Storm's mega 5% alliance, which likely will persist, then Sharif will grab whoever it can, and maybe they'll be butting heads to come to start the merge.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know Storm. I know a lot of people are rooting for him, and I want to see more from him. But I think he's playing it right now, kind of just chilling, and letting Lauren kind of like be that person who's out there in the mix. But I'm super impressed with all of them. I do want a female winner. That's my only wish. But I also, looking at the original tribes, it was very big personality versus chill people, right? Like you had Dina, you had Lauren, Angela, Casey, who's very intense, all on one tribe, and everybody else seemed relaxed. And now you look at it, and there's a mixture of both. So it's going to be on both sides. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, how the chill people deal with, like, how does Carly deal with someone like Lauren? You know what I mean? Where they're very different. So that's going to be interesting to me. And that's the best part about this swap is the mix up there, personality wise.
I just feel sad that we didn't end up with Keenan and Sebastian in the same tribe, because I really want to see what would happen when you combine those two people together. And maybe
Some
it's just
chaos.
better for everyone if they are kind of apart on different tribes.
Yeah. I love Keenan. He's fan favorite for me right now.
Question. Well, something we haven't talked about too much because we spent time about players, but what are you guys' thoughts on the challenges thus far? Do you have any favorites? Or because there have been some interesting strategy choices, and there have been also some very close challenges. Like,
I mean, that for that first immunity challenge, like Angela, like struggled in the ladder puzzle, but then like nails the harder puzzle in like a minute 30 seconds.
It was like
I don't know,
so fast. That was a crazy comeback. And if they lost so much, so to grab that first immunity win, like I know how that feels. Like very exciting.
Yeah, so this is a little tidbit on that. That challenge was made in season 9 by Todd, literally like an hour before the challenge went off. And it took season 9 to finish like 10 minutes. So just compare that to how quick. I love a come from behind win. It's exciting and it makes it interesting. So I was really happy for them, even though I am Team Blue. But I was happy that they came from behind.
It was crazy. It just was like, bam, it's done. Like it was so crazy how fast that was.
And then you have the vertical ball maneuvering maze. I don't know what you call that thing, right? And that ended up also being a close call, and ended up being a reward. But I mean, I feel like they're eating a lot more than we did, Jake.
Yeah, maybe that was just us, but they definitely had.
Maybe it's because there was that pizza reward challenge.
Was it Drew in one of his confessionals? He was like, all I've had to eat today was a piece of toast and this and this and this. I'm like, we didn't eat for like 4 days. Like, I ate a pizza crust out of David Shaw's pocket because I was so hungry. Like, I ate a grape jelly packet that production dropped. Like, I was starving.
Yeah, my first season, I didn't eat until merge. So that was like 4 full days. So yes, take away the food, make them starve, just in honor of the rest of us that had it.
Yeah. And then like I think I remember like they're like, oh, we're finally starting the rice. End of day 2. I'm just like, man, I'm pretty sure Tess Shaw used up the rest of our rice, but end of day 2, we were out by then.
We were just going for it. We were fine. Yeah, well, I mean, good for them if they're winning them and it's available, so be it. But I suppose the extra when that challenge became a reward, that's when the food was added. So I'm guessing there probably wasn't originally, but the most recent challenge was the table maze and the balls and the cage and all of that stuff. And I just want to know why they thought the bouncing idea was a good idea. I don't know if you watched that they were like trying to bounce the ball like over the walls to like get it to the center. The yellow tribe was.
Oh, because I watched the blue tribe do that. We didn't ever try to do that. Like, right? Try to bounce over the walls.
No, I wouldn't even. The holes are just so sporadic. It's like there's no way you can aim it, and those tables are so heavy. Like they are way heavier than they look.
Especially when one of your tribe mates is like nearly passing out, so you have 3 people carrying the weight of it.
Yeah, for real. They didn't have to swim this time, so that was really nice in production. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, because I watched the blue tribe, but I would not try the bounce. I would have just gone straight through and just be skillful.
I was on the blue stream and then I was like, I gotta go figure out where yellow's at, and I just saw the bow like bouncing around and like bouncing in a hole, and they just try to get. It's like, I think you're just wasting time by trying to get lucky. But I think at that point they knew that they were behind, so they were trying to pull like a Hail Mary. But I'm like, you're better off, in my opinion, to just keep going through the maze, because it takes blue one slip and all of a sudden you're back in it. So I thought that was an interesting choice, but I wouldn't advise it to people in the future of Reelfoot, because the table maze is there every season, and I don't think that's it. I don't think that's
We should create a list of things not to do. Like, don't tell anyone about your idol, and don't try to bounce the ball over the wall.
For real, your Reelfoot do's and do nots.
I was wondering what lecture items people brought, and because I was grateful we weren't sleeping in the mud for most of our season, but I feel like these players are going to be sleeping in the mud a lot.
Yeah, well, somebody, I don't, unless it was part of a reward, but somebody had a football at camp. Like one of the camps was throwing around a football. So I guess that's like kind of fun, but I would have went more on a practical side, I suppose, than that. But I also don't know what the rules and logistics are behind the luxury item. So
if it's the same as last year, you get to pick 3, and then production actually picks your luxury item.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so you have to make a list. So
it's a little bit different then. Okay.
Yeah, because I just said, can I bring a yoga mat? They're like, sure. And I just found the thickest yoga mat that was a yoga mat I could bring the sleep on. I saw, I think I saw Barbara laying on one too. And I was just like, having that cushion, I was very grateful for that during the season.
Yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, one of the do's that we learned from a tribe in one season is, I don't know what it's like there, but collect as much of the dead grass and the hay that you possibly can and bring it, because it actually works really great for bedding. So if you're watching this future season, grab it on your way back from every single challenge.
I thought I saw the blue tribe. Was the blue tribe that had like so much wood? One of the tribes has collected a ton of wood that's now just wet. Yeah.
What a waste of time and energy. I'm just glad they put their tarp up, because when they started, I was like, this is not, and in juxtaposition to the yellow, they went right to work. They built a nice shelter. Blue's just like laying around on the tarp. I'm like, you're not on vacation, guys. Like,
Steven does not sound familiar at all, because that is the story of our season. Yeah.
Well, God. I just remember, like, the swap happens. Players get to our tribe and it's like, yeah, we're remodeling this.
Yeah, ours was it was rough shape, but their luxury items are interesting choices. The football, I know for sure, was one I would just be interested. I'd love to see a list of like who has what, because there are certain things that definitely just make you feel a little better. Like I don't remember who it was that had in our season, somebody had deodorant and we were like sharing it, and it just like made you feel semi-clean for a moment. Like I think it was kind of nice. So I would be interested to see what people had.
Yeah, I remember when I played Pirates Royal Expedition, Stacy's from season 2 fame, her luxury item was toothpaste, and that was pretty amazing, especially after a grocery challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, and they got quite a lot of things from the matching challenge too. A lot of like little necessities. They're getting too much. We need to take that all back. Take that back from them. Yeah, that's it. It's season 10 is like season 1 in the backyard with nothing.
So, who are the, like, if you had to list 3 players that you're keeping an eye on that you think are going to go far from this point? Who are those 3 players?
Good question.
Well, I'm going to go, my first pick is going to be Megan for reasons we already talked about, and because I have to root for Megan. I think that Dina probably has a good chance, because I think that she's not afraid to be, I think she comes off to me as somebody who's not afraid to make the moves that she needs to, and isn't going to be blinded by kind of tribal lines and loyalty, which I think is going to be especially helpful when the tribes do come back together. And I'm going to say my third pick, I'm going to say if she can survive it, I'm going to keep my eyes on Angela, which I picked all women, I'm realizing. So I guess I also want to see a female winner, but I'm going to say I'm going to keep my eyes on Angela. I get good vibes from her. I think that she's, with the exception of this target, which was kind of out of her control, I think that she could be in a good position, especially if she makes it through here. And if, like you said, Ryan would consider playing the idol on her, I think that puts her in an even better spot. So those are my 3, Megan, Dina, and Angela.
Yeah, so I'm going to piggyback off of that with Angela as well. This little meeting impressed me of how she was kind of like initiating the conversation by asking a lot of questions, which is going to be helpful for her to get information at Emerge. So I definitely am keeping my eye on Angela. I also really, really, really like Sharif a lot. I think he, even though his size can be intimidating, his demeanor kind of is the reverse of that. He seems very approachable and very level-headed and easy to talk to. So I'm hoping he makes it out of this situation. And then I have to root for Dina just because she's one of my good friends. And I know that she has the strategic and social abilities. My concern with Dina is like she reminds me of the reverse Marianne, right? So Marianne had a lot of energy. It was very bubbly and nice. Dina could be the opposite. So come day 5 when nobody's eating or sleeping, like, could that be where they say, all right, we just got to get her out of here because she's just too much? So those would be the 3 that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, so I think I had to make a preseason winner pick, and so I picked Lauren. I'm still going to stick with Lauren. I know she caught some votes at that tribal council, but I feel like she is well positioned behind Storm, and it's hard to say, like, will she be a shield for Angela? Will Angela be a shield for her? I don't know. We'll see. Kind of, I think the question of who of those 2 get targeted first, I think that will end up mattering at some point. I'm going to say Josh. I think, again, Sharif is going to get a lot of attention as the season continues, especially if Naga is in minority and he and like Storm are kind of against each other. So I'm looking for Josh. I don't think the vote penalty is going to hurt him. I think there's going to be enough chaos on that Swapu Naga tribe that we're going to see like Josh, Sharif, and Barbara kind of slip through and figure things out from there. And then my wild cards, Keenan. I mean, I really hope he can get the swap. I mean, it was such a bad. I was really despairing when he got that like penalty vote from the get-go, and then like things are working through even though he's not in the majority alliance. I don't know. I guess I just really want to see like when will people figure out like, oh, this is a 5 and this is a 5 we need to break. Like when is that connection going to happen, especially for James and Keenan? I don't know.
I don't know. I think Dina might blow that shit up because she's hurt. I think being left out and on her own. And I agree with what you said earlier. She should have thought about it smarter and did a 3-2 so that at least both sides were kind of content. You run the risk of somebody like Dina, who you've known now for 2 days and you could tell is a loose cannon and can't keep her mouth shut and will say whatever comes to her mind. That's not the person I'm putting by themselves. You know what I mean? I would have put Storm by himself just because of his demeanor and whatnot. So it might be over before it really even gets some traction. That's what I'm hoping for, obviously, honestly.
And who knows? Maybe we see new alliances form across tribes. What a novel thought, right? Or we can see maybe something like last season. Who knows?
We'll see. I think going into tomorrow, I think that we have 2 very different stories with these 2 tribes. And so there's a part of selfishly, I would rather see Unaga go to tribal first because I think that's going to be really telling. And I actually also think that whoever is the first out could end up swaying and changing some people's ideas at the subsequent tribal council. So if Unaga loses first and Quana sees that who went, that could potentially alter some plans and vice versa. So, but that's what I want.
Very interesting point. Like if James or Keenan go, that's going to be a major signal to the other 4 on the other side. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Primaverati. What is a voting block? Do such things exist? I don't know.
Leave Carlton alone.
I guess one other question. So when we saw the return of the season 3 twist, I thought it would be very brief, and we maybe would see maybe some flashbacks to other season twists. But it seems like this vote penalty twist is here to stay. And so I'm curious, do you have any idea or speculation of other things we might see get thrown out to players?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm only stuck on this. I thought we would see some type of redemption, edge of extinction, something like that again, but it seems like that's not a thing. So I don't know. Reelfoot has done some really weird stuff before and some weird twists that you can't really call for. So maybe if it's something new, then I don't know that there's any way to predict what it could be.
I'm waiting for every person to find an extra vote in their buff. I'm waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, Steven, I think you mentioned in your cast analysis that I thought it was going to be where they were going to pull parts from every season in the last 9 seasons and kind of like implement it. We did see that with this one, the meetup, because that was something that they did in season 8. So maybe we will see more of like different pieces from other twists.
And maybe they're just not explicitly calling out like, hey, what season is this from? And maybe, I don't know, maybe players need to kind of figure that out, and maybe that'll factor later on. I don't know.
Tomorrow when people start going to the Slammer, that's
that would be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps things up. Anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, bring on. I'm ready for more streams, so I'm ready for tomorrow. I'm ready to see their rafts. Like, have they done this challenge before? Because I'm really curious to see what they're gonna make.
Like maybe it's like the hot pursuit challenge where you're running in circles. Maybe like they have to carry the raft above their heads. I don't know. Like that's all. There's no way they're gonna put them on the water on the raft like that.
Well, I definitely was thinking it was gonna be like Survivor All Stars, like on the show, and then you just have to like make a raft and swim out and get your stuff. And I was like, if that's the case, just bundle wood and tie it and just sit on it. Like,
even though everything's wet right now,
you're right.
It's gonna fall right apart.
Yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait to see in the morning. I can't wait to see what they made.
Yeah.
And I'm forgiving about water challenges and survival challenge. Survival challenge, like it's raining, you're wet, go back in the lake some more.
Oh, for real. Like there was a whole running meme where it's like every time you see the guys in the canoes and you're just like, oh no.
Well, Michael, Jake, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. For those of you tuning in, we'll be doing another recap Wednesday evening, so get excited for that. And so much more Reelfoot the content, such little time.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Steven.
Yeah, take care, y'all.